Hi, joiners. My name is Jessica. If you are new here to my class or to join, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Good to see you. We have my assistant, Harry, today, apparently. So today's class is going to get started seated. So find your way down to the mat and let's take a moment. Just get into it before we start. Our class today is really going to focus on hip mobility. So moving the hips in all directions and, stretching and opening a little bit, but really about moving. So if you sit for most of the day for work and you have that feeling when you get up where you're kind of hobbling because your hips feel really tight, this is the perfect class for you. So without further ado, we're going to get started seated. I'm going to face away from you and bring the feet to the ground, or kind of to the ground. Bend through the knees here. Bring your hands underneath the thighs and kind of round through the spine. We're going to make our way down to our back, but with control. So kind of hunched over in this position. Make sure you're centered on your mat. Start to roll forward. So bring your shoulders and your chin forward, round through the spine, press back with the feet, and slowly see if you can roll back with control. Ooh, yes. Press the low back down into the earth, activate the core, and finally come onto your back. Yes, release. Knees stay bent here. Soles of the feet remain on the ground. And just lay back for a moment. Open the arms up. Soften the face. Notice where the tension resides today. If you're tight in the upper body or the shoulders or the neck, you might be kind of bracing through the shoulders. See if you can soften and release the shoulders up into the back. And find a softness here and breathe. We'll use the next few moments and the next few breaths to really unpack. And, it's not a therapy session, so we're just unpacking what happened today. We're unpacking anything that could potentially take us away from being present here. So close the eyes, soften the face. Maybe you're thinking about what you have to make for dinner tonight or some task you forgot to do earlier today. Let those thoughts come through and then neatly put them away. Maybe put them in a manila folder outside of this room, and you can open that folder up as soon as we're done. Start to deepen the breath here. Big inhales through the nostril. Fill the belly up. Fill the chest up and exhale. Sink a little deeper into the earth. Find a softness in the hips and the pelvis. Maybe a little wiggle from side to side if that feels good. Maybe the hands to the body if that feels good. We'll take our last full breath here together. A nice big breath. And sigh it out. Very good. Release the fingertips to the ground if they're not already there. We're going to start really gently easing into the hips. So we're going to find clamshell thighs, I think is a good term for this. So bring those knees together, maybe the feet together if that's comfortable. Just bring everything as close together as you can. And drop that right knee open. So notice your natural range of motion. If you feel resistance in the hip, if you feel like a clicking sensation, just be really gentle. And instead of forcing the knee down to the ground, with the left heel, press the body over to the right for a little assist. So we're using our strength and we're using our body weight to kind of gently open the hip. And if you can get your right knee over to the ground by pressing into the left foot here, let this whole right leg be really heavy. Let it just kind of relax into the opening. Come back to center, roll the right knee back towards the ceiling. And as soon as you get back to center, left knee opens up. You can use your hand to help you here, but again, Press into that right foot to find that openness, and then let the hip be heavy. Breathe into that sensation for just a few moments. And then come back to center and move through this at your own pace. You can make this fluid. You can pause on each side for as long as you want. Just avoid moving really fast here. And we're just looking for a little sensation. If you know you're really tight in your hips, like you probably feel this already. And just find a rhythm of movement that works for you today. Explore whatever you're feeling in the hips. Don't force anything. Just kind of be aware if there's a tender spot or a place you know you don't want to push past. And let's just meet our body with compassion here. A few more times on each side. Yes, and starting to open up. Hopefully you feel that too. Finish up your round here, and then we'll meet back in center. All right, so coming back to center, soles of the feet are still on the ground, knees are bent up. We're gonna find a figure 4 here. So bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. And just kind of play with the sensation here so you can kind of move from side to side. Notice where you feel that. If you're here and you don't feel a whole lot, there's an option to pull the shin in closer to your body here. So definitely try that. And if you have the range of motion, let's go ahead and drop the right foot over to the left side. Keep the arms open. Maybe the gaze comes over to the right arm. And find a softness here. If your legs slide away from you a little bit, that's okay. Working on the outside hip area. Come back to center here. And then we're gonna come in the other direction. So keep your legs positioned the same way. And we're gonna hook the right ankle over the left knee and kind of drop in the opposite direction. Now this might be really awkward. This might be a good place to bring a block in. Right under that knee. And we're looking to draw the left inner thigh down towards the ground by hooking up the right foot. And then come back to center in your figure 4, and we will switch sides. So left ankle over the right knee this time. Relax, kind of wiggle it from side to side. And then we will cross body here. So left foot drops over to the right. Again, use your block under the foot if you need that support. Gaze comes over to the left. Find a connection to your breath. Soften the face. And come back to center here. And we'll find this on the other side. So roll onto the other side. Notice if this side needs a different approach. Find your props if you're using them. And let's come back to center here. Drop the feet down to the ground. So we're back in the position we started in. So let's continue with the hips, shall we? So from here, we're going to bring the right knee up towards the sky, and we're going to point the toe and think of drawing a little circle on the ceiling. So point the toe as the leg comes forward, and flex through the foot as the knee comes into the body. And if you get lost there, it's okay. Flexing the foot and pointing the toe is going to help you with momentum here. Just make little circles, all right? Even if they're just super tiny. And try to make those circles a little wider. And then finish up your circle and start making circles in the other direction. Remember to flex the foot as you bring the knee closer to your body. Point the toe as the leg draws away from you. And find that full range of motion in the hip. So see if we can start to make these circles bigger or wider. You should start to feel this in your core as well. Maybe your hip flexors are already on fire. Last circle, and then bring the right foot down. We'll switch sides. Left foot comes up. Start to make your little circles. You can start really small. You can stay small if that feels best. Gentle, fluid motions here. We're inviting some lubrication into the joints and really releasing tension, energy, muscles and ligaments that have kind of been bound in the same position for a long time. We're looking for full expression in the hips here. So last circle, come back to center, draw the circles in the other direction. Oh my gosh, do you feel that? I'm starting to get a little bit of a sweat. So don't feel bad if you feel that too. Make these circles bigger, open that hip up. Oh yes, big circle. Ooh, last one. Come back to center. Other side again. Draw your circles. We'll do 4 in each direction here. And then switch directions. 2, 3, you got this. One more, if you're with me. Ooh. Foot down, other side. Lift that knee. Make those circles. Maybe you start out with bigger circles now that we're warmed up. 3, 4, and then we'll switch directions. Last one, yes. Bring the legs down. Let's find supine butterfly here. So stay on the back, bring the soles of the feet in together, and then drop the knees out apart. Yes. Let gravity pull the knees towards the ground. So again, if you feel tenderness in the groin area, anywhere in the hips, this is a good opportunity to support yourself with blocks. You can kind of squish them underneath the thighs or the knees for support. And this is for anything that's keeping you from allowing the knees to really fall out heavy. If you feel any resistance or any sense of wanting to pull back in your hips because of tenderness or pain, that's where you need the support. Even if you feel you can muscle through it, we want our minds to be able to explore the depths of ourselves during our practice as much as possible and to not be in pain anywhere, right? Discomfort, okay, but sharp pain, not really. So notice what you're feeling. Let those knees open up. Breathe. Let the shoulder blades melt into the back. Soften the jaw. Just a few more breaths here before we move on. Unclench your hips. 2 more breaths. Last breath here. Draw the knees together here. Let's roll over onto the right side. And then come up to a seat here. And for this seat, we're going to draw our legs in front of each other. So I'll come back to the other side for a side view. So bring the legs long in front of you. If your legs, if you have thigh meat and your legs don't come together comfortably, having a nice space between them like I have here is fine. Definitely make sure that your sits bones are connected to the ground. So spread that flesh from underneath the thighs away so you have a nice solid foundation. We'll sit up really nice and tall here. Hands to the tops of the thighs. And then on the exhale, we'll start to walk our hands down and fold forward and reach for the ankles, the leggings, the toes, whatever's available for you. So as you have grip on whatever you have grip on, think of pulling the spine long, finding length in the spine. Even if you feel like you're a little hunched over, and maybe you are a little hunched over because that's how your back is, just use this leverage to pull that spine long and get into the back of the legs a little bit here. This also stretches the bottom of the hip flexors as well. Soften through the face, find that full breath. Check in after a few breaths and see if you can come a little bit deeper into the fold while keeping a straight spine. If belly is in the way, don't be afraid to move it out of the way. You can pull it out of your leggings and squish it around. This is your practice. And one of the many joys and benefits of having an at-home practice, am I right? You can be wearing whatever you want, not worrying about offending anybody. Last breath here. And release. Roll up. Very good. Roll off the neck. Yes. And then let's find tabletop position. So find your way to hands and knees. Take your time. Bring the knees about hip width distance apart. Plant those hands down as broad as your shoulders. Fingertips are nice and open and active. Look down at the hands. Press the thumbs down. Press the pointer finger down, the middle finger down, the ring finger down, the pinky finger down. Feel how that activates the wrist a bit and presses those knuckles down so that you almost have a suction in your palms. Curl the toes under. Gaze comes right down between the thumbs. Ooh, extend through the shoulders and the arms. Big inhale here. Exhale for downward facing dog. Shift the weight forward, lift the knees up, come into the balls of the feet. Drop the head. Ooh, wiggle the hips out a little bit. If you feel any pinching or pulling in the hip area, maybe your feet aren't wide enough. Try to step them a little bit wider and see if that helps. Try to bend the knees. See if that helps. Drop the head down. Ooh, step the feet out nice and wide here. And then walk the hands back towards the feet until you arrive in a wide-legged forward fold. Let's hold on here for a moment. Bend through the knees and sit. Sit back. See if you can get your hands on the ground here. Relax the neck. We're sitting back into the hips. Knees are nice and wide. Feet are supportive. Spine is soft. Upper body's hanging out. It's just surviving. It's just being here. It's giving us some passive weight, of course, to sit back into the hips a little deeper. Ooh, press those hips down a little bit more if you can. And then pull the hips up, lengthen through the legs. Roll up nice and gently, reach out and up. Arms come up towards the sky, chin is tucked. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Step the feet in together. Let's come towards the top of the mat here. Shake out the arms. Shake out the hips. Let's check in. Let's check in on the hips. Actually, so come back, step out wide. And let's just kind of move through the hips a little bit. Oh yeah, it's smooth like butter. These hips, they don't lie. And it's feeling a lot smoother than it did before practice. So hopefully you're connecting with some of that sensation as well. Yeah, it feels good. Ooh, okay, forward a little bit. That feels a little tender. Try tilting that pelvis forward a little bit. Yeah, let's work on that. Okay, all right, vibe check is good. Let's come back to the top of the mat. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Oh yeah, halfway lift. Lengthen through the spine, draw the shoulders away from the head. Neck is long. Neck is long and strong. Exhale, melt down. Plant the hands down to the ground or down to blocks. And we'll step back with the left leg. Nice big step back. Lower down onto the knee. low lunge. All right. So if you have blocks that you want to use, grab them here. Otherwise, you don't need them. Frame the foot or bring the hands on the inside of the foot, whatever feels best in your body. And we want to work on opening the hips, especially the top of the hip flexors where I identified there was some tenderness. I don't think we've worked that. No, we haven't worked that very much. So let's focus on that here. So hands can be wherever you want them. I'm going to try to get a wider lunge here because I have the space. I'm shimmying my foot forward a little bit more. And I'm pressing my hips forward as well. So you can see I'm coming kind of off of being directly on my back knee and coming towards the top of the knee and dropping the hips down to the ground. My hands are supporting on the blocks. They can also come to the top thigh. You can interlace the fingers and kind of press away for support there. Just depends on your anatomy, what you like. Ooh, take some moments here. This is the good stuff. This is the hips spilling all the goods, letting go of everything it's been holding on to, unpacking. Exhale, release. Let's bring our hands down to the ground here. Step back, downward facing dog. So inhale, curl the toes under, exhale, lift. Yeah. Lift up, wiggle out the hips. Ooh, try to get the heels down to the ground if you can or close. Step the feet wide. Bend through the knees. Walk the hands back. Find that wide squat again. Yes. Sit the hips down. Hands can stay supported. Hands can come up to the knees. Whew. Very good. Release the hands down if they were up. Ooh, and start to unfold. One vertebrae at a time. You can bring the arms out wide if you like. Big inhale here. Exhale, hands to heart center. Step together. Walk to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down. We're going to step back with the opposite leg. So the right leg steps back, or whatever leg you didn't use before steps back. Nice wide step back. Lower onto that knee nice and gently. Find your hip here. Find your lunge here. Get your foot positioned. Ooh. Drop the hips down to the ground. Oh yeah. This feels so nice, so necessary. Also so full of effort today. Soften your face no matter what you're feeling. If you need to ease out of this, ease out of it. If you need to get deeper in, dive in, baby. Keep breathing here. And start to lift out of this. Hands come down. Let's find another downward facing dog. So step back. Curl the toes under. Big inhale. Exhale, lift up. Yeah. Ooh. Are your heels on the mat yet? Maybe they're closer. Hell, maybe they're where you started. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Just notice and be good. Be okay with it. Ooh, fingertips are open nice and wide. Shift forward to a high plank. We're just going to be here for a moment. And lower all the way down to the knees. Chaturanga. Elbows into the side body, lower down. And come all the way down. Drop the arms down. Relax the shoulders, let them melt into the earth. Start to come back to center here. Come on to the forearms. We are going to find frog pose or frog pose variation. So while you're on your belly, let's start to bend. Let's start with the left leg. Bend that left leg up. So we want to think of the inner thigh hugging the ground and the inside of that left foot also hugging the ground. Get a nice hip opener here, a nice gentle one. And you can hang out here. Really press the pelvis into the ground. Try to soften the glutes if you're clenching them. And press the weight into the forearms. Kind of press the shoulders and the chest away. Soften the lower body. It's going to want to start to clench up here. And if you're not feeling a lot here, if you're not feeling anything in the hips, draw this knee up a little bit higher and see if we can correct some of that. Really release the lower body into the ground. Unclench the glutes, relax the pelvic area, and then slide this left foot back. Let's find that on the other side. Oh yeah, so take your time here. Find any adjustments you need to make. And again, press those forearms down and send some of that energy into the pelvis so it hugs the ground. It's really supported and leaning into the earth, right? We're actively pressing that into the ground. Maybe the knee comes up off the mat a little bit because we're pressing down so much. And that in turn is going to help to open the hip up a little bit more. And breathe and watch the sweat roll off of your face onto your mat if you're like me. And then release, come to center. An option to take a full frog posture if you like. I'm going to try to face you for a better view. Actually, no, I'm just going to come to the other side. So if you want to try for this full frog pose, we're going to come down onto the forearms and take the knees nice and wide. So depending on what surface you're on, you might want blankets up underneath the legs. You can always bring blocks or a bolster into the groin area for a little bit of support. It might seem like it's not very helpful, but it is. So start to think of opening those knees up and press the hips back. I have 2 blocks right up underneath my pelvic area. Insides of the feet are coming down into the ground. Forearms are pressing up and the glutes are relaxed. Bringing blocks into the pelvic area also help you keep you from getting too far into this posture as well. Press the pelvis down. Relax. Use your upper body to support you. Breathe. You can also bring your head down if you like. Whew. And we can start to work our way out of this. Press into the forearms. Bring the knees in together a little bit. Come onto the heels. Yes, come onto the heels. Again, my handy blocks are coming to support me here in this posture. So if you need support there, I urge you to do the same or just find a traditional seat. And we're going to end our class here today, keeping with the themes of nice mobile hips. We'll end in hero pose, which puts the hips in a really optimal position. So we'll take our last moment here, find the hands to rest on the thighs or on the bodies, close the eyes, tuck the chin. And soften the face. Let the breath return to its natural rhythm. This concludes our practice together today. I want to thank you so much for showing up for yourself, supporting our beautiful community here, and trusting me to lead you through this practice. I hope you feel amazing in your body, and I look forward to seeing you next time.